Today I'm going to show you how an attacker can forge the to and from addresses in an email. Let's take a look. To manually send an email, I'm going to go to the Windows command prompt and use a tool called Telnet. Your administrators typically use Telnet to manage remote computers. However, by redirecting it to port 25, the port email uses, I can use Telnet to manually send email. To do this, I type Telnet followed by a mail server that I want to send an email to. In this case, it's a test server on my network. And I finish the command up with 25, which tells it to connect to the email port. Once I press enter, I'm immediately connected to the mail server. Once I'm connected, I have to introduce myself to the mail server and tell it who I am. I do this by using the hello command followed by my domain name. However, this server has no way of checking to make sure I'm really who I say I am, so I can easily lie to it and tell it I'm from badplace.com. Next, I have to tell it who this mail is from using the mail from command. However, again, the mail server can't really check on me, so I can easily lie again by saying I'm badguy@badplace.com. Finally, I have to tell it who the mail's for using the rcpt or recipient to command. This is one of the only commands I have to tell the truth to, otherwise the mail will not go to the person I want it to. So I'm going to go ahead and send it to my own account. Finally, I type the data command. This tells the mail server that everything that follows is going to be the actual email. Up until now, nothing I've entered will actually appear in the email. In fact, rather than the mail from and RCP2 addresses I already entered, Outlook, or whatever email client you use, will use the email headers in the email to tell you who the email is from and where it's to. So I'm going to start by adding a from header. And again, I can totally lie here. So I'm going to say this is from your friend. This could be the name of your real friend if I had done a little research to find out who they were. And I'm going to say the address is yournetwork.com. For the to address, I'm just going to put me. And now I get to put the subject of the email. In this case, I'm going to put, I found pictures of you. Hopefully someone will see that and want to know what's in the email. Finally, there's some other stuff I could type here. For instance, I'd type the actual message I want to do and whether or not it has an attachment. But I've already done that in a text editor, and for time's sake, I'm going to go ahead and paste it here. So now I've sent the message, I just have to quit the email server. Now that we've manually sent the email, let's see what it looks like. I'm going to go ahead and open Outlook Express. And right away I see I have a message in my inbox. Now if I look at it, it looks like any other email. It comes from your friend to me, and it has a subject, I found a picture of you. And if I actually read it, I might be enticed into opening this attachment, which could easily be a virus or worm. However, what you have to remember is the person that sent this wasn't your friend. It was some random person on the internet. In fact, at one time he called himself badguy@badplace.com. Yet what I see here is your friend. So this is a perfect example of how email headers can lie to you. I'm going to quickly show you a second variation of this trick. We start with the same telnet command, use pretty much the same SMTP commands. Again, we're sending it to my test email address. However, this time we're going to use some different email headers. Again, to save time, I'm just going to paste the rest of the email in and quit from the server. So let's see what the second email looked like. I appear to have received an email from Oprah Winfrey. However, if I look closely, this letter seems to be addressed to David Letterman. How did something to David Letterman appear in my inbox? Well, again, as you remember, you can easily lie to email headers. So even though this message is really to Corey Knockreiner, it looks like it's to David Letterman. I wonder what it says. I feel the same way. Now, how do we get rid of Stedman? I think we should delete this email. Back to you.